What's up, boys? Welcome to this video where we will be swapping out the 196 in the B200 for the Predator 224 motor. Now, it is a mess over here because I literally just finished filming the governor removal. I'll link that down below if y'all want to see it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this into here. And we'll start by going ahead and disassembling this thing. So first things first, let's go ahead and start removing this thing off. So let's go ahead and get this torque converter pulley off, and we'll go on the other side, loosen up the motor mount bolts. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull this thing off as one whole unit. So we can just go ahead and do the swap on a bench with the carburetor and the exhaust, and then just throw her back in here and call it a day. All right, now that we are on the floor, let's go ahead and get this thing off. Got 13 mil on the impact, and we'll give her a few punches. Or one good one. And come on, there she goes. Oh yeah, this was hard to get off last time. Okay, yeah, there she goes, there's that off. Get this collar, that was also a pain to get off last time. It was gunk in there. And the belts, and those cool bearings, which you really never see with these torque converters. There's that, and the spacer. I want to keep these because I haven't decided yet. I do have a juggernaut for this. I don't know if I'm gonna put that on right now or do a few test runs with this stock pulley system and see how it does first. Let's go ahead and get on the other side and undo the motor mount bolts. All right, guys, I don't know why these bolts were on there so tight. Like, I could not get them undone. Like, literally, this thing barely struggled to get them undone. Anywho, here's one of the culprits of why we're changing this motor. So much oil leaking everywhere. Let's get to this other side, and honestly, I think the only thing holding this thing on is this throttle sleeve. Slide that out and go put this on a towel so it doesn't make a mess, and then we'll pull this motor out. All right, guys, she's ready to come out. So I got this little container here, and that is scratching my paint. Remember when I said this thing's ready to come out? I have wiring, I already see it. Let me go undo this wiring real quick. Okay, now she's ready to come out. They like that it's simple with these things. And Coleman made it really simple with the wiring too. It's literally just plugs. Man, we got some cleaning up to do. All right, here are the motors side by side. So here we got the 196 that is leaking oil currently all over my table, and the brand new 224 that we just took the governor out of. So now we need to move this gas tank over to the 224. Same with the carb and this exhaust. And this paint is starting to chip right where my terrible weld is. So I might have to repaint that or do something with that. I don't know. It's kind of under the motor, so we don't really see it anyways. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get that stuff transferred over to the 224. These little shut-off switches for the fuel tanks are amazing. I absolutely love them. Okay, there is the gas tank. Full of gas. Absolutely full. So let's go ahead and transplant this over to the new motor. Now we'll go ahead and get this tightened down, the bolts all in there, and get this side cover back on. I'll get you back when that happens. Gas tank is on there. Now she's looking a little bit more like a motor now. It is a little bit of a tight squeeze for the fuel line. It is some of the blocks. So this block right here doesn't have a support. There's no support right here on this block, but on the 224 block, there's a little bar there. And it is kind of pushing against the fuel line. Not that bad though. Not to where I wouldn't change the gas tanks for it. Maybe one day in the future, but for now, this one will work. Let's go ahead and get this carb on now. Okay, now to get this VM22 off. So let's go ahead and undo it from the motor so that there's no more. Dang, I was on there. Okay, there's that one. They are now loose and we can now unscrew them. So once we get this done, I'm pretty much all that's left is the exhaust. Okay, there's that. And you can see we need to cut this gasket a little bit. See if I can get it off without breaking it. So far, so good. There we go. All good. Now let's go ahead and transfer this over to the 224. Wait a second, did y'all catch that? I had the intake gasket on backwards. That is actually hilarious. Let's go ahead and get this one on the right way. And you know, the 224 intake and exhaust are a little bit bigger. So we might actually need to cut a little bit of this gasket, just grind it a little bit. Go ahead and screw in this thing in there. Okay, once I get these in, I will get you back. But you know what I'm thinking about? I wonder if I put it in that video if I put the gasket, if I showed putting the gasket on backwards, because I have not removed that carburetor since we've done that video. If any of y'all catch it, go comment and say, dude, you put the carburetor, you put the intake gasket on backwards. All right, that side's tight. Let's get this side tight, because I think that's actually hilarious. There's some horsepower loss right there, along with the blown freaking motor. Okay, that's tight, all good, and screwdriver is not stuck. Gonna go ahead and connect the fuel line. It's all good. Now let's go ahead and work on the exhaust. This thing's looking better and better. Okay, got me my 13 mil. I'm gonna go ahead and undo these exhaust bolts. Pardon the terrible camera angle. It's just, this thing is leaking so much oil. I don't really want to be sliding the engine around and spreading it everywhere. So this is just for a few seconds while I unscrew the stock exhaust. Then remove it. I think I'm gonna use a new gasket. That 224 came with a good gasket. Now, let's go ahead and get the exhaust gasket. Y'all can see, right? Going on the right way. Gosh, that's so stupid. Now we can get this side on, and it actually came with lock washers with the stock exhaust. So I'm gonna install those lock washers if I can find, yeah, here they are. Both lock washers, and let me use those new nuts that came with this motor. Here we go. These new nuts along with the lock washers, and let's go ahead and tighten this thing down. Everything's been transferred over for now. What I am thinking about doing before I actually run it, I might put these wires over to the 224 because I think it's the same coil on here. And if anything, this has coils inside the flywheel for the headlight. And whenever I do this electric start deal, we're gonna have to have those coils in there. So I think I might put these wires over to the new motor because look at these clips. I don't know if y'all can see them. The 196 came with these clips and they're quite nice instead of having to use those bullet connectors for the kill switch on the 224. I don't know. For now, I'm gonna throw the motor in there like that, but I might steal some more parts off this 196. But it will be going in the junkyard. Now I'm gonna go ahead and wipe up some of this oil. Look at all that mess. I mean, granted, some of this is from the chain, but look at all that. All of that is oil. It's a lot cleaner now. Let's go ahead and get that 224. I'm gonna walk back here, grab this motor, and then now we're gonna slide her in there. Okay, so far so good. Don't want to scratch up too much of the paint. Let's go ahead and get the motor mount bolt. Ooh, wait. I'm gonna worry about that once I have the motor bolted in, but that does not look good right now. I might have to run the Coleman cover. Let me show y'all real quick. All right, we're in a little bit of a pickle here. I have the side cover off, but we're bolted down, not tightened down, but we're just loosely in there. And as you can see, the heat shield is resting on the jack shaft. Definitely know that means it's gonna scratch up my paint and probably get rid of my paint. So I'm gonna try to delete it. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, because these things are air cooled, but the 196, I'm gonna try to put the 196 heat shield on there and see if that makes it any better. But if it doesn't, we're gonna have to go no heat shield. All right, boys, I think we'll get away with using the heat shield from the 196cc motor. So as you can see, it's in there and it barely clears more than the 224 heat shield. So we're gonna have to use this one. Glad I'm gonna use one instead of not using one. So good thing that fits. Also, I think I'm gonna go ahead, since I have the cover up, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over the wiring for the 196. If y'all think that's a bad idea, let me know. I'll gladly change it back if somebody knows more than I do about these magnetos. So with that being said, let's go ahead and swap these out, and yeah, I'll get back with you in a sec. All right, boys, this build is pretty much done. All I have to do now is go ahead and put oil in it, start it up. So I have this pull cover on here just for now, like just for looks, because I can't actually run it. It is hitting everywhere and just doesn't look good. It does not match the red. I was afraid of that, so it looks like I will be having a sleeper build. Kind of a 224 motor in this factory pull cover, factory gas tank. None of that's factory, but The only trace of 224 I have is this black valve cover. So that's how we'll know it's a 224. Here's what's left for the 196. Yeah, she's looking sad. But I was able to transfer over the coil from the 196 into the 224. Let me know if you'll have any idea about that. I think they're the same part. I don't know. Let me know, because I was able to plug it into the factory harness over there. I'm going to go ahead and throw that pull cover on here, and we're going to try to put some oil in it and fire it up. No more 224 cover. All that's going away. Now, sleeper build coming in. If I can get it on. Dude, watch this not fit. Oh, that would suck. It literally looks like the same part. Okay, maybe I'm just stupid. Hold on. Okay, so here's kind of what is happening. So I'm gonna have to use the stock 196 fan shroud onto the 224, which looks really weird. It fits. All right. Okay, here goes the cover. Not upside down, preferably. Yep, and there she goes. Fits. Yep, it was the fan shroud. All right, let's go ahead and bolt this down, and I will get you back when we're ready to start it. Biting the dust over here to get some of this oil in here. We're gonna go try to beat this daylight. It is like 7:30 and it's about to get dark, so we're gonna throw some oil in here, see if it fires up, and go take it for a quick little drive, see if it drives. Pardon me not having my mic on, but let's see if we can get her started. Okay, on switch, and let's give her a few pulls. Not even kidding, that was the very first pull I've ever done on this bike. That's saying something. Why is this shaking so much? It's tight on there. I don't know. I'm gonna go try to ride it. I will get back with y'all in a minute and see how this goes. Alright guys, I will admit it. Y'all were right. This 224 is absolutely insane. Just got back from a ride. I'm still like mind blown over here. This thing started very first pull. I mean, y'all saw it. That was my very first pull ever on this thing. Brand new 224 motor. All we did was swap out the covers and all of that stuff. So it pretty much looks like a sleeper, right? The only giveaway is the black valve cover for the 224 valve cover. You won't really know that it's a 224. It literally looks like a stock bike besides the exhaust and the car. But okay, sitting down time, let's talk about this thing. So the 196cc engine, it was nice. I mean, it was good for stock engine, modified it the best I could. I mean, I could have threw some valve springs in there and other stuff, but wasn't needed. It blew up, and just by adding whatever I added to it. So adding the 224 on there, absolutely crazy. Without a doubt, the very first time I drove it, I gave it a little bit of throttle, instantly noticed a difference. So I'll be cruising with this brand new 224 motor on there. I'll cruise, I want to say the butt dyno about maybe 15-20 miles an hour. Give it a little blurb, the whole front forks go to max droop, and the wheels like bumping around, wants to come off the ground. Now with the 196, that's absolutely crazy. But with the 196, I'll cruise around at about same thing, 15-20, full throttle that thing, and it's just lazy. You can hear the RPMs go up there, but it's just lazy. You mean the forks will come up a little bit and have a little bit of a squat, but I honestly did not think I'd be seeing much. I mean, I knew I'd see a little bit in the takeoff, but I didn't think the freaking front wheel would want to jump around off the ground. And this is a very heavy bike. I had that Predator 212 on my CT200U. I'll have a photo of here for you. it would get the front wheel off the ground with a 212. And granted, the 212 was modified. It had the VM22 header pipe, and I think that was it, honestly. But with the torque converter, it would have jumped the front wheel off the ground, because that was a very light bike compared to this thing. I mean, the tubing on this thing is way bigger than the Coleman 200U could ever be. And I think the same size tire. This also has front brakes, and it's just all around heavier, way heavier of a bike. And this 224 is getting this front wheel to jump off the ground, which absolutely crazy in my opinion. So before this video gets too long and I just keep blabbering on, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. So let me know what y'all think of this whole build. If you want to see anything else with this bike in the future, I think this is exactly where I want it, besides a few minor things like the juggernaut and the smaller rear sprocket. This is pretty much where I want to be, but I do have one more thing coming, like electric start, and I'm going to be wiring everything up with a battery and having a key switch and all that. After that, I'm done. Then I'm done with this thing. With that being said, I will catch you on the next one, and peace. Poor little motor. Look at that thing, all sad and broken. Yeah.